Everyone keeps saying refinancing is the golden escape hatch, the magic move that saves you from the nightmare of a mortgage reset. But what if the math just doesn't work out that way? We're talking about a moment where billions of dollars in adjustable rate mortgages are ticking toward resets, and some investors are about to get a very rude awakening. Let's back up and understand why this conversation even exists, because the story starts with something that felt like a gift. When rates were sitting near historic lows, we're talking somewhere around 2 and 3% adjustable rate mortgages looked like the smartest tool in the box. Cheap money with a timer attached. The timer is what matters here, because an adjustable rate mortgage, or ARM, is essentially a teaser that expires. Think of it like a gym membership promotional rate. Great for the first year, then suddenly your wallet is doing cardio it never signed up for. The assumption baked into most investor math was that rates would stay friendly long enough to sell, refinance, or stabilize cash flow. But what we saw after 2022 was the Federal Reserve hiking rates at a pace that hadn't been seen since the 1980s. And suddenly that assumption looked less like strategy and more like wishful thinking. Now, here's where a lot of people get confused. They assume refinancing into a fixed rate is always the clean solution, the reset button that restores order. But refinancing isn't free, it isn't instant, and it isn't always available just because you want it. Closing costs alone can run 2 to 5% of the loan amount, which on a $400,000 property means you're immediately out $8,000 to $20,000 before you've saved a single cent. That's not a rescue plan. That's paying a toll just to get on the highway. There's also the uncomfortable truth that refinancing requires you to qualify all over again. Your debt to income ratio, your credit profile, your property's current appraised value all get scrutinized like it's your first rodeo. If your property value has dipped or your rental income has softened, the lender isn't going to roll out the red carpet. The historical pattern here is actually pretty consistent. Every rate cycle produces a wave of investors who bet on cheap short-term financing, assume they'll pivot before the music stops, and then discover the chairs are already gone. We saw versions of this in the savings and loan crisis of the 1980s, again in 2008, and the echoes are getting louder right now. Here's the misconception we need to kill immediately. People think a fixed rate is always better than whatever adjusted rate they're facing. But if your ARM resets to 7% and the best fixed rate available is 7.5%, you haven't escaped anything, you've just locked in a slightly more expensive version of the same problem. The smarter historical lesson is this: the investors who survived volatile rate environments weren't the ones who made one brilliant move. They were the ones who stress tested their deals before they bought them. Running your numbers at 6, 7, and 8% interest before you close is not pessimism. It is just basic professional hygiene. Practical discipline means never sizing a position so large that a rate reset alone can wipe out your cash flow and your reserves simultaneously. If your entire investment thesis collapses the moment your teaser rate expires, that was never a thesis, that was a gamble wearing a spreadsheet costume. The irony of this whole conversation is that the people who are most afraid of a mortgage reset are often the people who could have structured their way out of it years ago with tighter underwriting and a little less optimism. Markets reward preparation far more reliably than they reward courage or conviction. At the philosophical level, what we're really talking about is the difference between reacting to financial pressure and building systems that absorb it. Discipline, position sizing, and consistency, those three things will outlast any rate cycle, any Fed policy shift, and any headline that tells you the sky is falling or that everything is fine. Whether rates go up, stay flat, or somehow reverse, the investor who has modeled multiple scenarios and holds adequate liquidity is never truly trapped. Being comfortable with uncertainty isn't recklessness. It's the signature of someone who has done the work and trusts their process over their predictions. And if you're ready to build that kind of foundation in your own portfolio, whether that's real estate investing, home contracting work, or connecting with the right lenders, check out our links in the description below.